Welcome everyone to Inside the Park on FSPN, the weekly recap show for Miami-Dade and Broward County High School baseball, and it's powered by First Pitch Baseball. I'm Uncle Muggs, and alongside me is Anthony Chappie Castillo.
Muggs, my brother, it is a pleasure. And by the way, I love the studio. I love what you've done with this. It's excellent. It's amazing.
Did you see the tree?
Yeah, the tree's awesome.
We got the wall of hats. All we need is some green in here, so we need like a San Brendan's hat. So Robles, if you're watching, and Sebastian, you guys over in San Brendan's, I need a hat, please.
So I'm going to jump on board with that as well. My boys over at Ferguson, my alumni, I'm going to get a hat from you guys. And I'm going to go visit my boy Steven Suarez over at Archbishop Coleman Carroll. I'm going to try to get a hat from you. So be ready for my visit.
Absolutely. We're going to need caps, guys. Chappie, you're going to love today's show. We've taken the segment of Coach's Corner and we've expanded it. We're going to have 4 coaches on the show today. One is a Hall of Fame coach. The other one is an up-and-coming coach. And then we have a couple seasoned coaches that are coming on. And they're going to talk to us about their 2025 season expectations and a whole lot more. You got to watch this.
Not only are we going to have some local coaches, but we're going to have a former Dade County coach that's now in St. Augustine. And he'll give us some comparisons of North Florida baseball versus South Florida baseball.
So let's lead things off with none other than Felix Varela head coach, Laser Collazo.
Followed by the head coach at Matter Academy, Humberto Bencomo.
Then it's former Coral Gables and Miami Springs head coach, Phil Wiesser, who's now in San Augustine with the Tocoi Creek Toros.
And to wrap it all up is the Hall of Famer in our backyard at Southwest, Coach Mandy Pelayez.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by the actual Coach's Corner. They're a complete printing service from embroidery to screen printing. They can do caps, uniforms, and promotional items. And Coach's Corner is the official printer for FSPN. So give Alex a call over there for all of your printing needs.
Sit back, relax, enjoy this week's show. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram for upcoming events. You ready, Muggs?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Dude, are you eating popcorn right now?
Yeah, I'm getting ready for the show. I mean, here.
Yeah. You better pass that over here.
Let's watch the show. It's going to be good.
Welcome to Inside the Park on FSPN, the weekly recap show for Miami-Dade and Broward High School baseball, and it's powered by First Pitch Baseball. Well, it's time again for that ever-popular segment called The Coach's Corner, and today we have a veteran head coach on the show. He has a long list of accomplishments and awards and accolades. I could probably record an entire podcast on what he has done as a coach, but I'll be brief in saying that he has NCAA Division I championships both as a player and a coach, and he's coached some top-level Division I collegiate programs as well. Dozens of his players have gone into the major leagues, and you'll be hard-pressed to find a coach with more passion for the game. Our guest today is Coach. Welcome to the Coach's Corner.
Muggsy, it's a pleasure being here with you. I'll tell you what, man. If there's someone that knows a little bit about baseball, it's you.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a pleasure, again, being here at Varela Field. I mean, what you're doing for high school baseball, not only here in Dade County, but all around the state of Florida, not many people do that. So in my opinion, you're the best, man.
All right, thank you. I'm the best just because there's nobody else doing it. That's all. So, Laser, me and you go back a long way. I've always been curious to know how you got the nickname Laser, because as a pitcher, you really didn't throw that hard.
Not at all. I'll tell you what, the hardest throw I ever did or pitch was about 86, 87. That's not a laser.
That's not a laser.
But it's funny because in 1985, as a player, my first day there at the University of Miami, Kevin Sheary, our top pitcher that year, asked me my name, and I said, Lázaro. And he goes, what? He goes, no, that ain't going to happen here. Your name is Laser. And since that day in 1985, I've been known all over as Laser.
All right, so that's how the nickname, there you go, folks. If you were wondering how that nickname came about, there you have it. So take us through your coaching career, through your life. I mean, try to be brief because I know you've had a long one. But tell us about your career and how you ended up here at Felix Varela High.
Absolutely. I mean, I coached 18 years at the University of Miami. I was fortunate enough to, be in 13 College World Series, won 3 national championships at the University of Miami. I also coached at Florida State, coached at Louisville, and then USF. After that, I coached 1 year at Gulliver where we won the state championship there. And after that, I took a little bit of a break so I could see my son Edgar play at the University of Miami. Those 4 years were just very, very exciting to me. So one day I get a call from Mike Vergara, an old friend of mine, and he asked me, "Hey, Laser, would you take on the program at Varela just for a couple years, just trying to get it back into shape again?" And I said, "Sure, I'll do it for a couple years." Well, it's been 5 years now, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a great time.
Well, let's talk a little bit. Can we talk about last season? There's been enough time there. I know you suffered a couple of really heartbreak losses towards the end of the season. What do you tell your players? How do you bounce back for something like that?
Well, you know what? That's a great question because, as you know, young players, they let little things affect them a little bit too much. And so what we did after the year last year, we kind of got together. We said the good and bad things that we have to do or that we did. And so this year, what we're doing is those little things that we didn't do last year. So, as you know, you're going to win with the little things. Home run barely ever wins, but the little pickoffs, the little bunts, the little hit and runs and things like that, the little things is what's going to make your team win and win a national championship, or in this case, a state championship.
Coach, let's talk about this 2025 season. It's just around the corner, and there's been some district realignments this season, and now you're in the Class 5A, District 16, with teams like Hialeah High, Everglades Gators, the Mater Academy Lions. What's your overall view on the realignment, and how is this going to affect your Viper team?
Well, I mean, it's a great realignment. It's a great district. I mean, starting with what I feel is the best team in the state of Florida, which is Mater. Humberto has done an incredible job there. His team, I mean, pretty much everybody's already been recruited and committed. They have just really, really good players. And then I think we have Hialeah as well, which is a team that's upcoming and doing a great job over there. And Everglades, I don't know much about them, but I've heard they're a little scrappy team. So, I feel that it's going to be a very tough district and even tougher region to be able to get to the state playoffs.
I circled one game on the calendar when I got the schedule earlier this year, and I put it as a must-watch game. And it's on Wednesday, March 19th. Your Vipers will travel to Westland Gardens Park and face off against a formidable district opponent that you just mentioned, the Mater Academy Lions. Is this a game that you're personally looking forward to, and why?
Well, we're looking forward to every game. I'll be completely honest with you. Even though I said, in my opinion, Mater's one of the top schools not only here in Dade, Broward County, but in the whole state of Florida. We have one of the toughest schedules in this year for 2025. We play Stoneman Douglas, we play Pace, we play Doral, we play Mater, we play Braddock. We have such a tough schedule this year that a lot of the high school coaches told me, "Hey, Laser, you're kind of going crazy at your old age."
All right, Coach, talk to us a little bit about your current program, your current school, Felix Varela High, and then tell me what you think about this 2025 Viper team.
Well, first of all, I think Felix Varela High School is one of the top high schools, not in baseball, or I'm not talking about sports. I'm talking about mainly academically. Not many people know how good Felix Varela High School is academically. We have a great athletic director, Ryan Schneider, as well as a principal, and Adrian. Now, the one thing I will say about this school, if you don't get after it grade-wise, I'll tell you what, they're not going to mess around with that. They're going to put academics a lot, they give it a lot of importance here at Felix Varela High School.
Just like we were told when we were young, el colegio primero.
El colegio primero y los deportes más tarde, because not everybody makes it to the big leagues. I mean, it's just been a great ride so far.
You were telling me earlier that this year's team is a little young, but they're scrappy. Is there a possibility that we may see you this year in Fort Myers? I
feel that there's always a possibility when you have teams that want to play, you have teams that want to win. And our team wants to play. Our team wants to win. We are young, just like you said. We have a lot of sophomores in varsity. We have a lot of juniors in varsity, but very talented sophomores and juniors. So that should help us a lot getting to our goal, which is Fort Myers.
I think that's everybody's goal at the beginning of the season. You're about to get a practice going here. The fields are starting to look really good. The season's just around the corner. So, hey, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. And again, hey, we're going to follow you. This is outstanding. Nobody has ever done this for high school baseball. You know, you always hear about football, Miami football, and all that. Hey, Miami baseball is great.
There's a lot of talent here. Okay, we have a little segment on the Coach's Corner that we call the Change-Up.
Oh.
And this is where we ask you 3 questions that have absolutely nothing to do with baseball in a way for our viewers to get to know Laser a little bit better.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Is Coach Collazo a Starbucks guy, Dunkin' Donuts, or do you like your cafecito at the window?
I like my cafecito at the window with pan mantequilla.
You gotta have pan con mantequilla. Awesome. So where do you go for that? You got a preference?
Oh,
Carreta,
I have La
Sergio's?
Carreta. I have Party Cake. I go to all those places for that in the morning.
All right. When it's not baseball season and you want to just chill somewhere, what's Coach Collazo's favorite vacation destination?
I'll tell you what, Bimini.
Bimini.
My wife and I love Bimini. We've been there for a very long, a lot of times, and I just love it. It's nice and relaxing, and not a lot of people, so that's why we love it so much.
Awesome. And the last question is, what is your favorite restaurant and why?
Whoa, man, you got me there. But people are going to think I'm crazy, but I love La Carreta. I mean,
Hey, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong
You
in
can't go
anything.
wrong there.
In anything that you order there from La Carreta, you just don't. Everything is great.
All right, Coach, thanks for being such a great sport. And if you didn't know him before, you know him now. He's the head coach of the Felix Varela Vipers, and he likes his carreta coffee, and he likes to eat a la carreta and take it to Bimini. Maybe you can take it to go to Bimini.
Let's do it.
All right, Coach, thank you once again for your valuable time. I wish you and your guys the best of luck in this upcoming 2025 season.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you everyone for watching, and remember, this weekly recap show, Inside the Park, will air every Sunday during the season, and stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram for a schedule of upcoming events. This is Uncle Mug saying so long, and see you next time, Inside the Park.
You're watching the Florida Sports Programming Network.
Welcome back to Inside the Park on FSPN, the weekly recap show for Miami-Dade and Broward high school baseball, and it's powered by First Pitch Baseball. Well, it's time for the Coach's Corner segment, and today we have an up-and-coming coach on the show. His team has won 3 consecutive district championships, and this year he's the preseason favorite to win the District 5A title once again. He's also my pick to be in the Final Four in Fort Myers this May, fighting for a state title. Our guest today is Matter Academy head coach Humberto Bencomo. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Muggs. Thank you for having me. This is amazing what you're doing for these kids in Dade and Broward, and these high school kids are going to benefit out of this so much. I mean, this is so much needed. So I know it's hard work for you and Chappie, but you're doing a great job. So I really want to say thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for opening your doors, and everyone really in Dade County and Broward. They've been very, very cordial with us. Now, Coach, me and you, we go back a long way. Heck, I remember when you were an umpire, and I used to argue calls with you in Tamiami.
Yeah, I used to come out of the dugout too much, Muggs. But, yeah, it was good times. That's when we started when we were younger and so on and so forth, and coaching after that, and look where we are now.
Yeah, now you're in your 4th year as head coach of a very prestigious school that really connects with its community through athletics and academically.
Absolutely, and it starts from the top with Alex Tamargo, our principal, and Robert Valido, Ernie Padron is our doing the discipline, Luis Rafan, and Butch Carnicero is our athletic director, and these guys are part of administration, and it's all school work. First, we're a AAA school. We're a 3A school, and academics here is very important. So I'm very blessed to have that.
That's right. Like we used to get told, el colegio primero.
Absolutely. And these guys are that. These are all sports guys. But they are about that first.
That's right. Your athletic director was a former catcher himself. Your pitching coach was a professional pitcher, and he won a Florida State baseball title in 1985 in Miami Lakes. So what's it like to have that support and experience behind you here at Matter?
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like our athletic director, Butch, I was, before here, I was at Gulliver, and before Gulliver, he was with us there in Gulliver, and we then want to come here, and then 1 year later, he's the AD here, and I was jumping for joy. So just all these guys are such good guys. Our coaching staff, Tito Rodriguez, Brito, Ricky Rojas, Danny Molina, Luis Petana, Fahim, and Victor, all these guys. I'm blessed to have these guys next to me. Without them, I can't do nothing.
You really are. And I've seen some of the work that you've put in here recently in upgrading the facilities, especially this locker room. Man, this is beautiful. I mean, some colleges don't have it this nice.
No, this has been something we've been doing for 3 years, and the last 6, 7, 8 months is when things have been going up and coming here. And these kids saw this yesterday for the first time, with their uniforms hanging here, as the highest level we can get. And this is a beautiful, and again, it starts from, our administration and their full support on this. And this, yeah, I got to say, this is beautiful what we have here, and it's brand new, and they just saw it yesterday. And you see these kids' faces, Muggs, you'd freak out.
Coach, let's talk about this 2025 season that's just around the corner. It has been 11 years since Matter Academy has won a baseball state title. Last year, you went 19-9, and you were 1 win away from making the Final Four. What makes you think that this 2025 group could be special?
Well, last year we were 1 game away from getting to the finals, regional final, and we had some key injuries. We lost our catcher, we lost a second baseman, and that hurt us. That hurt us in our last game. So, but there's no excuses. You got to come play. And now we are in this year. This year is it's a different year, and it's 2025. We got a lot of guys that are hungry. We got a lot of my sophomores and are now juniors, or sophomores our freshmen are sophomores, and we got some seniors that came in. So I pretty much got everybody coming back from our original team, and that's important when you got everybody coming back there in your philosophy. So we got strong pitching. We're gonna play defense, and we're gonna hit. So I believe this is the best team I've ever had here, Muggs.
Wow, that's pretty confident. So you see yourself in Fort Myers come May?
Well, that's the plan. That's the goal. If we don't make it there, and this was not the season we were heading for, but that's the season. This is what we're going to ride for. This is what we're going to play every day for. And hopefully after 25, 28 games, we get to the promised land.
All right. Coach, this year you start off the season playing Belém, Columbus, Florida Christian. FSPN will be covering that Florida Christian game on Saturday night at Patriot Field. And then during the season, you're going to take the Matter Lions to Georgia and then to Las Vegas. Man, tell us about that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I try to go out with these kids to get their atmosphere out of here and try to face different kids and different, atmosphere. And we went to Georgia last year, and what a competition it was. I mean, we played 2 games. We're going up there to play 2 games. We're going to go play North Cuvette, and we're going to play John Carroll. Those are 2 state contenders. And then Vegas is something I've been trying to do for the last 2 or 3 years, and I said probably year 3 or 4 we can do it. And we've gathered up and we've fundraised, and we're going to Vegas, and we're going to play top 3 teams on the West Coast.
That's the only way you can get better, if you play somebody better than you.
Absolutely. That's it. That's all we ask for. So that's what we do for these kids. Put them in the right track and try to get to our goal.
Well, I can't wait to be here. We're going to cover a few of your home games, a few of the away games, and I wish you guys the very best of luck.
I appreciate it, Muggs, and this is your home.
Thank you, sir. God, that feels good. All right, Coach, before we let you go, it's time for a segment that we call the Change-Up. It's where we ask you 3 questions that have absolutely nothing to do with baseball in a way for our viewers to get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready, Coach Bencomo?
I'm ready, Uncle Muggs.
First question, are you a Starbucks guy, Dunkin' Donuts, or the cafecito at the window?
I'm a Starbucks guy.
What do you get at Starbucks?
I try to behave, Muggs. I try to behave. There's a lot of it gets crazy in that place. Everything is good. So I try to stay with my black coffee, Muggs.
Just plain black coffee.
Yes,
Okay.
I try to behave.
What is Coach Bencomo's favorite vacation destination?
Somewhere on the beach. Puerto Rico, DR, somewhere out there. I mean, those are always great vacations to be. So yeah, somewhere on the beach, I would have to say.
All right, last one. What's your favorite restaurant and why?
Prime 112.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very good restaurant and steak. There's always good food there at the beach. So Prime 112 is one of my favorite.
Well, there you go, folks. If you didn't know him before, we know him now. He likes his steak on the beach with a side of black coffee. He's a cool coach, Humberto Bencomo, the head coach of the Matter Academy Lions. And, Coach, thank you once again for opening your doors to FSPN today.
Thank you, Muggs.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Inside the Park will air every Sunday during the season, so stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram for a schedule of events. I'm Uncle Muggs saying so long and see you next time Inside the Park. Welcome to Inside the Park, everyone, on FSPN, the weekly recap show for Miami-Dade and Broward County High School baseball, and it's powered by First Pitch Baseball. Well, it's time again for that ever-popular segment on the show called the Coach's Corner. And today we have a pretty seasoned head coach on the show. He started his coaching career by being the youngest head coach in Miami Springs history at age 23. From 2008 to 2017, he had arguably one of the most competitive teams in South Florida, with dozens of his players going into Division I baseball and another few even in the big leagues. Our guest coach today is Phil Wiesser, head coach of the Tocoi Creek. Phil, welcome to the show, buddy.
I appreciate you having me, Muggs. I've been following you guys and seeing what you guys are doing. Think it's some great things, man. And I love the backdrop. I love the scenery you've got going there.
Yeah,
I know it's a South Florida thing. We got to get you this North Florida hat.
We need to work on our hat game here a little bit. You know, we got Ridge and Briggs over here and Humberto.
Yeah,
but yeah, we could use one of yours. But hey, first of all, I hear you're doing great things up there. I want to congratulate you on the Coach of the Year. You got an award a couple years ago.
I appreciate it, man. I love it. I've done it always, in my opinion, for the right reasons. Really care about the kids and had an opportunity to kind of start a new program up over here. And I enjoyed it a lot. And it was a good year. We definitely had a fun one last year. Did something I've never done. We won 14 games in a row at one point, which no matter how good the team is, it's definitely a tough feat to do. And we definitely have kind of made some noise quickly in an early fashion.
Yeah, 14 in a row in any league, even in checkers, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, you give us a quick journey because you're a Miami guy. I know you went to school up in Flagler University up in San Augustine, a beautiful, beautiful place. But give us a quick journey of how you ended up where you are now in Tocoi.
Yeah, so I mean, originally, obviously, again from Miami, born and raised, lived there my entire life. Coral Gables High alumni. Goal was actually to work in professional baseball on the management side of things. And I did an internship after I graduated from Flagler up in Asheville, North Carolina for a minor league team, the Asheville Tourists. When I came home, the head coach at Miami Springs at the time, who's now the principal at Matter Academy, Alex Tamargo, was the head coach at Miami Springs, had called me and said, hey, do you want to come help me out and work with my pitchers? And I was kind of like, all right, I'll do this for a year and see what happens and then maybe get back into the pro side of what I wanted to do and work on the management side of things. And long story short, he left, became a principal at a small magnet program in Coconut Grove, and the job opened. And I was 22 years old when I officially got hired, and 23 when the season started. So kind of I felt right place, right time, and was at Miami Springs for 3 years. Had some good years there and success. And then Coral Gables came calling, and Gables is my home. Gables even though I left Gables several years ago now, it will always be my home. I love Coral Gables High School. I was there 10 years. Very fortunate to have a lot of success, as you mentioned, just on the lines of the kids and a lot of people. And I know winning is extremely important. I felt like I won quite a bit, didn't win as many district titles as I would have loved to and gone further than that. But I personally have always judged winning by seeing the kids get to go to the next level and play college and hopefully professional baseball. And fortunately, I've sent a lot of guys to college, and that's my number one goal. Kind of just had enough of South Florida personally. I loved it, but I'm more the old soul and like the small town. Made some phone calls up to the St. Augustine area, saw if some jobs were open. There was a small private school called St. Joseph Academy was open, and I put in for the job. And after talking to a lot of friends and family down south, everybody knew it's kind of what I wanted to do, and I felt like it was time. So I made a move, was at St. Joseph Academy for 4 years. And then to me, it's the final call. Tocoi Creek High School opened up. It was a brand new school, about a mile and a half down the road from my house. And it was just, I feel like for me, and I feel like a lot of coaches, it's got to be everyone's dream to be able to build something from scratch. From the days of seeing the field being built to the classes coming in, and we opened up with 1,300 kids, didn't have a senior class, to where we're now all the way almost to 2,700 students, and over in 3 years, this being our 4th year. So I've enjoyed it. I love it. I mean, I again love the kids, and going to see how we do this year. So it's been a lot of fun.
All right, Coach, going back to some of your players that you mentioned reaching the big leagues, who are they exactly, and how does it feel when you see them getting to the big show?
Oh, I mean, again, it's the first goal is obviously college, and you hope that happens because obviously just it's hard enough to play college baseball. But I've been fortunate to have a lot of guys to go on and play professionally in the minor leagues and then make it to the bigs. And I can't take a lot of credit for the first one. I mean, I feel like I stepped in the right place when I was at Miami Springs and we had Yasmani Grandal, our starting catcher. And as a freshman, I was there as an assistant his freshman year and then had him the next 3 years. But obviously he's a big leaguer for over 10 years. And then when I was at Gables, had quite a few talented players in 2015. I feel like it was one of our strong groups, and we had 3 kids drafted from that team. Actually, a 4th one signed at a college. But 3 guys drafted from that 2015 team, and Coco Montez got the call up about 2 years ago now, and was up for about a month and a half with the Rockies organization. So, I mean, how do I feel? I mean, it's just to see the joy for them. I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't make his first day out in Colorado, but I made sure. I think we got the call. I got the call from him, and it was the next day. That night, he was in Colorado, and it was just too tough. But I flew up to Fenway and was able to see him play up in Fenway that first series. So, but it's awesome. I mean, it's just to see the joy for him, for his family. Nothing more you can ask for.
Really happy for Coco, and now he's in Japan, and I think they won the World Series over there. So, yeah, I still keep in touch with Annie, and we're still good friends. Now, Coach, you've been up in Northeast Florida now for a few years. Can you give us some of the similarities and differences between North Florida baseball and South Florida baseball from your perspective?
I mean, it's still baseball. Obviously, I think the biggest difference up here is when I left South Florida. Obviously, there was so many schools, and talking to coaches now, I just keep hearing of schools that I've never heard of. I feel like every year there's another 4 or 5 down there. I think the biggest difference is we just don't have the numbers of schools that they have in South Florida. So you'll see the team be a little bit deeper all across. I feel like I don't want to say they're all stronger because obviously they're not, but we've got some teams that are pretty talented. And again, like St. Johns County. So I'm in St. Augustine, which is St. Johns County. And in our area, so South Florida has Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, is what I would consider that South Florida region. In that area, I can only imagine the total amount of schools. St. Johns County, we have 8. There's 8 schools in our county. So that's really all we compete with. And then obviously down there, the other thing that was happening before I left is the open enrollment. Students could pretty much go where they wanted if the school had space. And up here, that did not happen. You didn't see kids leaving schools. They were all staying put, and the teams were pretty well balanced. They've changed it a little bit now. You still cannot just go where you want. If you are not in a magnet school up here, in a magnet program, you cannot go. There's some virtual routes they can do it, but again, it's not, you don't see kids jumping from school to school and talking to some friends down there. I guess it's happening like crazy, even more and more. So you don't see that. And so that's where it's a little bit different, but on a playing standpoint, it's baseball. I mean, there's definitely some really, really good players up here. I'm very, very blessed. I know we'll get into my team this year in a little bit, but very, very blessed. This team that I've got now is probably one of the strongest, the deepest pitching staffs I've ever had in all my years. But we've been lucky since I got to Tocoi. I mean, like I said, we opened up with 1,300 kids. We did not have a senior class. I think our first year we went, I want to say around 9-15. Year two, we went 15-12 and won a district title. And then last year we were 18-8. So, I mean, we've definitely started to progress and expecting quite a bit more to take place this year and in the next years.
Yeah, give me a second on talking about your team. That's one of my upcoming questions.
Yeah, I got you.
I know you're excited and you want to talk about this year's team, but
of course,
later on in the season, from March 17th through the 19th, you're bringing your team down here to South Florida to play your former school, and also a game with Gulliver and Miami Springs, your two former schools.
Correct.
Tell us about that trip and how you think you're going to feel about coming back and facing your old school.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. I've actually done it once before. So when I did move up here, when I was at St. Joe, the small private school, we played Gables when Ernie Padron was there. It was definitely very, very weird. 10 years as a coach, as the head coach there, 4 years as an athlete there. Never once had I ever sat in the opposition dugout. So when I went over there, it was definitely a very, very strange feeling. And knowing that we're going to do it again. Antonio, obviously, Rodriguez, one of my former players, the head coach, love him to death. He brought his boys up last year. So we actually played them up here. And this is the first trip I'm taking with my group. Really looking forward to it. And it's always nice to come back and see friends. And it's funny because people find out I'm coming, like, why didn't you call me for a game? I'm like, I can't play the whole schedule down there, obviously. And then I've always been good friends with Arby. I know Arby well from back when he was at American. We had some good rivalries, and one of his assistants that's helping him, Pochi Gonzalez, played for me at Gable. So I talked to him. So we kind of set that one up. And then I'm obviously very close to Fanshawe and having the chance to play, like you said, Springs, where it really did begin for me as a coaching standpoint. So it's fun. It's going to be nice to see everyone. But at the end of the day, I'm still coming down to try to represent now the 904 and show that North Florida baseball is pretty good too.
I hear you, but you're still a Miami guy, and if you were down here this year, I mean, we had total district realignment. I mean, everybody's changing, and in a way, it's good because you get a refreshing look at the season. You're not playing the same teams you have for the last 8 or 10 years, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, we're going to cover a game at Arby's. Well, we're going to do a couple games for David Fanshawe as well. Okay. And Matter looks like they got a good squad this year. But let's talk about your 2025 squad here at Tocoi Creek. What are some of the expectations? What can we look forward to?
I mean, we're going to pitch. I mean, our offense, I mentioned earlier, this is one of the deepest staffs I've ever had. We are very fortunate. These are all kids that have pretty much been with us. We did get one kid that moved into our area. But people have asked, like, I mean, on the mound, we're just deep. I mean, like I said, it's one of the deeper groups I've had. We've got a couple position players that are two-way guys. I have the potential of having 3, maybe 4 guys that will touch 90 this year. My right fielder is a little guy, but he's a Kennesaw State commit. He was up to 93 in the fall. He'll pitch more on the 88 to 89 range, but our shortstop, same thing. He'll be 88 to 91. But they throw strikes too. I mean, in the fall, everyone up here, every time we play a game, everyone's like, "Oh, I heard you're deep on the mound," and that's kind of our strength. And with the playoff structure being reset this year and how they're going to do things, with its best of 3 series on the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals for the regionals, we feel like it puts us obviously in a good spot being deep on the mound, because it used to be you could have one arm ride that one arm and get there, and now you've got to have the depth, and I feel like that does help us. As a schedule, I mean, I make the schedule to where I feel like, again, we've got to get our wins because how the structure's set up. But we want to play some good competition. And I know when I come down there, the 3 teams we play are all going to be good for quality opponents. I know Gulliver's got Lombard, and he's a really good player. So there's a team up here that we're playing, Trinity Christian, who's going to be one of the top teams in the country. I mean, we set it to where we're playing the good 7 to 8 really, really good teams and trying to prepare us for that playoff setting. But I think we got a good chance offensively. We'll do things we need to do to find ways to score runs. I mean, we're going to swing it okay. But we'll definitely do all the intangibles of scoring runs, because we feel pretty good about if we can score 3 to 4, then we're going to win a lot of baseball games this year.
Yeah, it's quite a luxury to have so many arms there that you can pick from, especially in those weeks where you have 2 and 3 games.
Absolutely, absolutely. And nowadays you're playing 3 games a week for the most part, and it is. I mean, the depth is more important. And especially now that pitch counts have come in so much. And I've always been one. I'm very protective of my guys' arms. I'm not going to get a kid hurt. I really care about making sure that they're safe. So, but when you're playing 3 games a week, you've really got to be cautious with it.
Okay, so I have Airbnb on the line. Do I make reservations for you in Fort Myers in May?
That's going to be tough. We know the ride's always the ride there is always tough. I mean, there's some very good teams in our region. Buchholz is Gainesville. Buchholz is a very strong squad. They made it to the Final Four last year. In our district, I mean, our district's going to. I think our district will have at least 3, if not 4, teams make our region. But if we do things we're supposed to do, I think we got a chance. But I'm not gonna. I can't make that prediction. That's tough to do. I've had some great teams that unfortunately haven't made it. So I love to, obviously, but it's we'll see what happens.
All right, so before we let you go, first I want to wish you the best of luck. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best. And we have a segment on the show, and it's called the Change-Up. And it's where we ask you 3 questions that have absolutely nothing to do with baseball in a way for our viewers to get to know Phil Wiesser a little better. Are you ready?
Sounds good. Here we go.
Okay, is Coach Wiesser a Starbucks guy, Dunkin' Donuts, or Nespresso?
I would say none of the above. I'm a perfectly fine, just make a cup of coffee or go to 7-Eleven and grab a regular one, put some French vanilla in it, and I'm good to go. I'm not all. If I do need to pick some, though, I can go Starbucks hot or Dunkin' cold. But I'm just fine with a regular cup of Joe, too.
All right, that's cool. I'll take that. Okay, what is Coach Wiesser's favorite all-time sports movie?
Oh, gosh. There are too many good ones. I don't know if I can particularly say one. I'd probably say, honestly, almost all the ones that are based on true stories. The real, making them real situations. I mean, Miracle, Field of Dreams obviously was a great one. I know that was not, but I mean, between Miracle, Coach Carter, Remember the Titans. I mean, all those kinds, Rookie, that are really based on the true stories are kind of the ones that definitely gets to me the most, is knowing that they actually took place.
All right. So this last one, what is your favorite restaurant? And we're going to expand it. You can either pick one here in Dade County or pick one up there in St. John's. What's your favorite restaurant and why?
So I'll go one in each town. So up here, I've
You're so political.
I got to be, man. I got to still keep my roots down there and obviously take on the new place. Up here, there's a place downtown, St. Augustine, over the Bridge Alliance, called Black Fly. They've got a fillet that's just, when you put your knife in it, it kind of melts. So it's just unreal on that side. So yeah, but I mean, the place I'm going to say in South Florida, it's a kind of a hole in the wall. It's an Argentinian steakhouse on Sunset and 102nd, I think it is, called La Nueva Argentina.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Right next to Sports Grill. A lot of people, somebody took me there one time, and I love churrasco. That's probably my favorite steak still, and they sell an amazing one, and it's a great amount. I'm actually planning on taking my entire team there when we're down there.
Yeah, you're making me hungry, man. I have it down the street. I'm going to go hit that place right after this.
Oh boy, I'm going to be jealous. I'll be jealous of that one. So,
all right, folks. So if you didn't know him before, you definitely know him now. He likes his steak with a side of regular coffee, and he's the head coach of Tocoi Creek, Phil Wiesser. Phil, thank you very much for your time, buddy.
No, thanks for having me. I wish everybody down there the best of luck, and if we are fortunate to make to Fort Myers, hope to see some of my friends over there as well.
We look forward to that too. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. Remember, this weekly recap show, Inside the Park, will air every Sunday during the season, so stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram for a schedule of events. This is Uncle Mug saying so long, and we'll see you next time Inside the Park.
You're watching the Florida Sports Programming Network.
Welcome back to Inside the Park on FSPN, the weekly recap show for Miami-Dade and Broward County high school baseball, and it's powered by First Pitch Baseball. Well, it's time again for that ever-popular segment on Coach's Corner. Today we have another Florida High School Hall of Fame coach on the show. Our guest had a long tenure coaching at Sunset High before coming back to his alma mater and continuing the rich baseball tradition they have here. Our guest today is none other than, drum roll, Mandy Pelayez, the head coach of the Southwest Eagles. Mandy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, you're a real Miami guy, even though you were born in New York. You're a Westchester guy, and I can remember the first time I heard of you. It was back in a little park called Flagami, and I'd be playing in the juvenile field, and from time to time I'd turn around and hear the loud cheers from the crowd, and it would be guys like you and Alex Ferran, Randy Powers, Ramiro Braña, Placido, Ray Blanco, and J.J. Sanchez making all the noise. What do you remember the most about those early years?
Those were great years. Very competitive. The Noregas were there, and Guadarrama. We had some good time, and very competitive baseball. It was fun.
You went on to be a standout player yourself right here at Southwest, and you had a great college career. How did you get into coaching, and who were some of the guys that influenced you when you were starting out?
I was very fortunate to have some good quality coaches in college, high school and college. And after I graduated from FIU, I was looking for a job, and George Diaz was our head coach here at Southwest. He goes, "Man, we need an assistant coach. Why don't you start subbing and coaching, and while you get a job?" And I fell in love with it, and 34 years later, I'm still coaching, still here.
That long. Let's talk a minute about your coaching staff, and specifically the athletic director, George Diaz. You know, he won a state title in Cole Park in 1978.
with my college coach, Steve Hertz, is my mentor.
That's right, and he's a real baseball guy. And how important is that to have an AD that's a baseball guy?
Tremendous. It's a huge advantage. Have a guy that supports the athletics and as well as very knowledgeable.
All right, Coach, I know that you take pride in this ball field, the actual field, and it's looking like one of the best in the county. And I heard you're pretty good with that lawnmower. So why is it important to you to keep the field in such great shape?
Well, I appreciated playing in a nice field, and these guys are lucky that I was an infielder. So the first thing we did when we got here, we redid the whole infield. And it's therapy for me. I love coming out here to the yard and getting the field ready for our guys to compete.
Yeah, that lawnmower, that could be pretty relaxing.
Yeah, it's actually relaxing, chill.
Disconnect and everything.
Yeah.
We have the 2025 season almost upon us now, and last year you had a very good run at it. You beat a strong Doral team. You had two great games, defeating Felix Varela twice, only to come short at the end to the defending state champions, the Dwyer Panthers. I was here to see both of those games. What can we expect this spring from your Eagles?
Well, we always prepare for big games. We practice hard, and we get to see the results in the game situations. But we have a lot of returning players, so we expect to always get better. Always looking to succeed and improve. But we have a competitive schedule like we always have here. But we're ready, and we have no injuries. And we have the returning guys that came here with some experience from last year, so we expect them to step up and be major contributors.
Yeah, we're looking forward to covering one of your games early this season on February 12th. FSPN will be covering your game against the Miami Springs Golden Hawks, led by David Fanshaw, and we're calling it the Battle of the Birds. And you can watch that right here on YouTube. Also, later on in the spring, you'll be hosting that HSBN tournament here at Andre Dawson Field. What are some of the teams that are going to participate in that tournament?
We don't know yet. It's still to be announced, but a lot of teams, Anthony does a good job with High School Baseball Network, and a lot of northern teams that we haven't seen, which is nice to compete against, to prepare us for the playoff run.
I wish you the best of luck from right here. You're my boy. And we have a little segment on the show here that we called The Change-Up. And it's where we ask you 3 questions that have absolutely nothing to do with baseball in a way for our viewership to get to know Coach Pelayez a little better. Are you ready for this?
All right, let's do it.
Here they are. Are you a Starbucks guy, Dunkin' Donuts, or do you do the cafecito in the window?
Oof. I would have to go with Starbucks.
Starbucks. What do you get? What do you get for
I like the cold coffee.
All right, that's the
a little bit of ice.
Brew. Okay,
yeah.
I like that. What is your favorite all-time sports movie?
Ooh, I got a lot of them, but I have to go with Field of Dreams.
Oh, I love that one. That's
Yeah.
good. This is where they come out of the corn and
Yeah.
everything. That's a good one. All right, last
some
question.
catch.
What is your favorite restaurant and why?
Favorite restaurant? Oof. Just thinking about my days here at Southwest, we used to run to Sergio's
Sergio,
to get a pan con vite.
you can't beat
So,
that.
and it's still good at this time. So
You can't beat
I would have to go with Sergio's. It's local and nearby.
There you go. Well, if you didn't know him before, you know him now. He's Mandy Pelayez, the head coach of the Eagles, and he likes his cold brew at Sergio's while he's watching Field of Dreams.
Yes, sir.
Mandy, thank you for taking your time and being
Awesome,
on
man.
Coach's Corner here. And I wish you guys, again, the very best of luck in this coming season.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for watching Inside the Park. The show will air every Sunday during the season, so stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Instagram for a schedule of upcoming events. This is Uncle Muggs, and we'll see you next time on Inside the Park.
Well, Chappie, what'd you think of those 4 coaches?
Muggs, it's great to hear the insight of all the coaches that you had on the Coach's Corner, to see their season outlook for this year and to hear, their careers as it's gone by. Giving that insight to everybody here in Dade County is really nice, man.
There was a lot of experience there between them all. There was a lot of wealth of knowledge with the coaches. So thank you very much to all the coaches. And thanks everyone for watching. And stay tuned. Next week's show is the last one before the regular season starts. And we're going to do a deep, deep dive into 3 South Florida teams with player and coach interviews. And you're really going to get to know these schools, Chappie.
Yeah, I'm going to be really, really excited for this.
On behalf of my co-host, Chappie Castillo, I'm Uncle Muggs saying so long and see you next Sunday inside the park.